Robert Imbriali, so happy to be with you again today. April 7th, as the month is already getting started off to a very fast start, and there's a lot going on in our society, isn't there? I mean, you'd like to think, well, maybe, we'll just go on with our business. We're not going to worry too much about anything, but there's just a lot happening. And one of the things that, I tell people to pay attention to right now is that there is this idea or this tendency, I should say, to be a little frustrated, right, with everything that's happening. It's like the frustration is visible on a lot of people's faces, those who are not masked, I should say. The frustration is definitely there. And, just one example that I came up with today, I went shopping, I went to pick up some lunch and a few items for the studio here, and the bill was much higher than I'm used to. I pick up pretty much the same items. I'm not very creative sometimes. I was just in a rush and picked up the things I know I needed and put them in the grocery bag. And, all of a sudden it's like, wow, this is a lot more expensive. Normally it's around $22, $25, $26. It was $52, $54 for the same items, right? Or you go to the gas pump and you see that those prices are up. And these are things that cause people to be a little frustrated, be a little angry sometimes, and I certainly understand that. It's one of those things that, being human and realizing that these are things that are out of your control can really make you upset, and I get it. And you find a lot of people right now are dealing with this, and what I'm going to suggest to you today, and really the conversation that I want to have today is really about our reaction to it all, right? Because people are watching us. And you might not think, well, I don't really care. I'm in a grocery store and all these people are strangers and everything. I always take the time on checking out. I'm going to talk to the cashier. I'm going to talk to any of the employees I see if I happen to say, hey, how's your day going? Busy today, or are you getting a lot of good people? And it makes a big difference. It makes them feel better, right? And you might say, well, who really cares, right? They're there, they take my money, they ring my stuff up, I put it in a bag, and off I go. No big deal. But that's not really our job. Our job in life is really to try and help and make this world a better place. And if everyone goes around being angry, right, with each other and being combative and not being polite, not being caring, then what kind of world do we end up with? It's pretty hard. The other thing that is probably really noticeable right now is that you may not pay attention to this, but how you're reacting to what's going on. Granted, there's a lot going on. Granted, you have every right to be upset, scared, angry, frustrated, whatever those feelings are. You have every right to be that way. But there are people who are watching that are family members. There are clients who are watching how you behave and how you react and how you handle yourself when the pressure is on, right? We always know. When you want to find out, what a person's really made of, put the pressure on, put the squeeze on them, right? Wayne Dyer used to talk about, well, if I squeeze an orange, what am I going to get out of the orange, right? No matter how hard you squeeze it, there's only one thing you're going to get, orange juice. That's all that's going to come out of there, and maybe some pulp, right? But when a person is squeezed, you get to see, what they're really made of. And it's really important, I think, for us right now to really be cognizant of that, conscious of that, because somebody is watching. You may not recognize it. Somebody's watching. Could be a stranger. Could be your significant other. Could be your kid. Could be a family member. Could be a client. Could be someone who may be a client down the road. And your reaction is making an impact on them, right? As Ken MacArthur, my friend, always says, you're making an impact whether you want to or you're not. You're always making an impact just by breathing, just by being here. You are. So the question then becomes, okay, how do I handle all this stuff, right? How do I deal with it when it's overwhelming? And I have had conversations this week where people who are flat out done. They're depressed. They have lost hope. They don't believe things are going to get better. They're really struggling, and I've had those conversations the last 3-4 weeks. It seems to be kind of a regular occurrence now with people feeling that way. And the question then becomes, well, how do you deal with that, right? How do you help them to see that there's hope? And one of the things that I would suggest, and one thing that works probably better than anything else, is to stay away from a lot of the media that is very negative right now. And either it's mainstream or alternative media. There's a lot of negativity out there. And if you're being impacted by that, give it a rest for a couple of days, right? If anything major happens, I guarantee you will find out about it. It will be, the phone will start ringing. You'll start getting texts from your friends. If anything major happens, it'll be there. So if you find that it's impacting you a little bit too much, take a step back. take a break from it all. It's there, when you want it. But if you're finding that it's making you frustrated or making you feel angry, and boy, there's a lot of reason to be angry with what's going on out there, no question. But take a break, take a little breather. Do something that's fun, go out in nature, just take a few days and sometimes a week or even longer, and just take it in small bites rather than big bites. I know some people are on it 24/7, and that's really impacting them. We really want to get to a point, I think, that we're setting an example rather than being so reactive, right? Because that's what is in us, is to react in probably not great ways sometimes. But if we want to be a leader, if you want to be the one setting the example, you've got to find ways to react that are more in line with compassion, more in line with love, more in line with understanding. And especially now, people are looking for that, right? Those of us who can do that end up becoming the bright spots. And I got clients who call me all the time, and they like, wow, you always seem so positive about things, and you're looking at things and seeing, yes, all the bad that's there, but you can see beyond it and see how things might be better going forward. How do you do that? Not easy, right? It's something I work at a lot, because I can get buried under the nonsense and negativity as well. But I recognize that how I'm acting, and how I'm reacting, more importantly, is other people are being impacted by it, and they come to me for that. That's why they spend money with me, and that's why they're my clients, and that's why they're in my inner circle, and that's why they're my friend, or you know what I mean. It's like they get someone who can see through the garbage and see to the other side. No matter what happens, right? No matter how dark something is, no matter how challenging it looks out there, no matter how thin you could slice that thing, there's always going to be two sides to every single story. You may not have the time, you may not have the energy, you may not have the desire to go find the bright side of something that looks very negative. But I'm going to tell you, all you have to do is just remember that it exists, and somebody's going to dig it up. If it's not me, it's not you. Somebody's going to dig it up, and eventually it'll pop up. The other thing you can do is find the bright spots. If you're going through a lot of the media and a lot of the alternative media sites, a lot of stuff we've got on Telegram and all the kind of things like that, you're going through a lot of that. What I want you to do is I want you to find the bright spots when you can. And there may be groups that are better for you than others, but find the things where there's a win, where something is feeling right. It's feeling like, wow, this is really good that this has happened. This is going to be good for us going forward. And if you can do that, it's going to make you feel better. If you get in the night, especially if you get in the night on a good note, on a high note, even better, you'll sleep better. Not easy to do. And, like I said, some people just don't have the time to go through and find that kind of thing. So the other thing you can do is pay attention to who you surround yourself with, right? In the old days, when I was back in the 90s, when I was living back on Long Island, all of us would get together every Friday night. Where would we go? We'd go to the bowling alley. And what do you think we'd talk about at the bowling alley? We'd bitch and moan and complain about everything that's wrong with the world and everything we hated about our job and blah, 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 blah. And in the moment, it kind of felt good to get it off our chest, but you didn't feel good afterwards because you left there and, man, it was just a night of negativity, right? So I've been in a couple of groups like this over the course of my lifetime. And what I started to do is I started to bring in, okay, yes, that may be true, but also this may also be true. This is a bright side. And you know what happened? Is I couldn't hang around those people anymore because they couldn't relate to me. Literally, it's like you raise your vibration. You're not vibrating where they are, and you raise your vibration. They don't want to be around you anymore. Why? Because there's no more match. Right? So you start raising your vibration, and those people naturally go away. You don't have to kick them out. You don't have to kick yourself out. Naturally, it happens, and it moves on, and you move to that next level. So it's important to really manage, what's going on in here. You have total control over. You have no control over what goes on out there. I get it. It's sometimes hard. You really wish you could grab someone and strangle them sometimes. That'll get you in trouble, so that's not what I recommend. But you have control of how you react to it. A lot of situations, a lot of things coming at us really fast. And the question really is now, it's like, well, how are you going to react to it as it's coming to us, right? How do you react to it? What do you respond? How do you respond? Can you find a way to see the good in whatever's happening? Could you find a way to say, okay, this really looks bad right now, but what it could mean going forward is, and create a story for yourself? Because when you do that, it makes you feel better, and also those around you, because everyone's looking for this. You might think, well, the more negative I am, I'm going to attract a lot of people who are negative. You're right, but even the negative people are looking for, they're looking for something, right? They're looking for something to feel better about. Because if they sit there and bitch and moan and complain all day, are they happier when it's time to go to bed? Are they worse off? They're worse off because they didn't solve anything. They didn't see anything. I always tell people that this is what you want to do. You want to look over the horizon. You want to look out at the horizon, and you want to look for the little rays of sun that are starting to peek through. If you've ever been lucky enough to see a sunrise, you'll know exactly what I mean. When I was in photo school, that was one of my assignments the teacher gave me. He said, I want you to go take your camera, and I want you to set up somewhere, and I want you to get there an hour before sunrise and just stay there until after the sun is up, like for an hour after the sun comes up. I want you to photo document every step of the way. And it was incredible. What an experience to see the world literally come alive, right? And you saw those little rays of sunshine coming up over the horizon, just a little bit. And before you know it, more and more and more, and things got brighter and brighter and brighter. And then the sun came fully out, and then, wow, everything lit up, and the water and the trees and the birds, and everything was just coming to life. Well, it's very similar to what's going on right now. We have to be able to look over the horizon, and we've got to be able to see the bright spots, because it's challenging, but we can do it because there are bright spots. I'm going to tell you, Tony Robbins, I think you learned this from Jim Rohn way back when, and he said, we go through life, and life has its seasons, right? And right now we are going through winter. There's no question it's winter right now. We have, everywhere you look, there's a challenge. There's like nothing that you could look at and say, this is normal. There isn't anything out there that's really normal right now. Everything is messed up. Everything that's right is wrong. Everything that's wrong is right. You guys know exactly what I'm talking about, right? So the question then becomes, okay, so if we're going through winter, how long does winter last? I don't know. But, I've lived in Montreal for 14 winters, and I know they're pretty darn severe up there, those winters. But what I recognize is no matter how bad the winter is, no matter how much it snows, no matter how much the wind howls, no matter how many ice storms we go through quite a few there, at some point, the sun has always come back out. The sun came out, the snow started to melt, the ground warmed up, and boom, tulips. What? Where'd they come from? How'd they survive that winter? We always do, right? So we're going through winter right now. I get it. I want you to know that it doesn't last forever. At some point it will end. And you could look at throughout history, any bad, World War II, anything you want to look at in history that was really not, a pleasant situation, ended at some point, didn't it? At some point it came to an end. This will come to an end too, all the challenging things we're experiencing. And what will happen, it will either make you a better person, a stronger person. It's certainly done that for me. It's certainly strengthened my resolve more than ever. I didn't know that would happen. It certainly has. And a lot of people have stepped up and become leaders. We're going to have a whole new batch of leaders as we come out of this on the other side. The old guard is going away, right? They screwed it up. They don't know what they're doing anymore, and we don't want them anymore. There'll be a whole new group of leaders. So we want to be that. And whether or not it's a leader in the public eye, or it's a leader in your own family, or you're a leader of your own life, right? You need to seek that. And how you do that is you start by, properly responding and reacting to the situations that are out there. Does it mean you don't get angry? Nope, I get angry. Does it mean you don't get depressed? Nope, I get depressed. What it means is you don't stay there. You find ways to get back in the game. And the quicker you get back in the game, the better. There is a great analogy of a football player, right? You got a quarterback, and the quarterback throws that football. And, if he throws a bad throw and, the other guy doesn't catch it, and it's horrible. It's a horrible feeling. It's, he missed through it. He slipped. He did, whatever. It didn't work out the way he wanted to. How long does he have to recover from that? How can he go home for weeks and be sad about it and be upset about it? Or does he have to get back in the game by the next play? Right? He's got to get back into the game pretty quickly, right? Otherwise, if his head's not in the game anymore, there's no chance he's going to win. Well, it's okay to feel depressed. It's okay to feel angry. It's okay to feel defeated. You don't want to stay there. You want to have tools. You want to surround yourself with people who can help you see those rays of sun over the horizon, because they're always there. I've come to the conclusion that they're always there, but you got to look for them. When you look for them, you'll find them. When you find them, you can start grabbing onto those and say, I want more, I want more, I want more, and you'll start to feel better. And that is how you build your inner strength, and how you build your confidence, is how you become the example that those around you are going to follow. Now, we always have people watching us. I mean, it's really interesting. We have no idea who we impact. No idea whatsoever who we impact. We don't know how many people are watching our podcast. We don't know how many people are watching the emails we send out. We don't know how many people watch us when we walk through the grocery store, right? Are you walking in your cart, you're hunched over in sadness, or are you standing tall? Makes a difference, right? People pick up on the nonverbal cues. So we're impacting people all day, every day. And it really is, our job is to do the best we can. Are we going to be perfect? No, that's not what I'm asking you. Perfection is probably the lowest standard you could ever hold for yourself, because you can't achieve it, right? There really is no such thing as perfection. Although we like to think we want to be perfect. I could look at this podcast and I could find 10 things that are wrong with it. It's not going to be perfect. Is it going to be good enough? Yeah. Is it going to be the best I can do at this moment? Probably, right? And that's the standard I shoot for. Is it the best I can do right now with what I've got in front of me? Yeah, it is. Okay, good. Then it's good enough. And you move forward like that. And we've got to look at it. We've got to say, we're not perfect human beings. We're going to make mistakes. We're going to get angry. We're going to get depressed. And we may stay depressed for too long. It's okay. Don't beat yourself up. But do climb back out of that. Don't stay there. Do everything you can to get back out of that, whatever it's going to require. And for a lot of people, the quickest way to do it is to stop being exposed, or stop exposing yourself to the things that are causing you this distress. Turn it off. If it's the media, turn it off. If it's somebody in your inner circle that's really just pawing at you, it's like, enough, right? Block them out. Whatever you need to do. Say, I need a break from you, and take some time and just recover and get your feet back under you, because we are examples for many, many people. We don't even recognize how many we're impacting. I get emails every once in a while. I'll get an email from somebody who says, Rob, I've been following you for more than 20 years. And I'm shocked. I'm like, what? You've been following me for more than 20 years? I had no idea. Why? Because I'm putting stuff out there. Do I know who views this video? No. Do I know how many people read my emails or read the articles I submit or press releases? I have no idea. But I know I'm listed all over the internet. I know that I'm making an impact. You are too. It may not be quite as big. It may be a lot bigger. And it's up to us to really manage who we are, to show people, be the example of what's possible, even in the face of all the crises that we're going through right now. At some point it ends. At some point we come to the other side. It's either going to make you or it's going to break you, and I really want it to make you. I want you to be a lot stronger, a lot more confident, and I want you to be in a position to thrive when this is finally over. So with that, I will say thank you so much for watching today. This has been fun. I enjoy doing these. If you also enjoyed it, give it a heart. Hearts are better for the algorithm, and we'll get more people to watch it. If you find that it's valuable, please do share it with your friends and followers. And I will look forward to seeing you again next week, same time, same channel. Thanks for watching, everyone. Have a great